Hey everybody, Collin from 701 Cycle and Sport. Hopefully everybody's safe during this pandemic and hopefully your family's healthy and well. Today, we're bringing back Mechanic Monday. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus with everything going on, just been super busy, haven't been able to get videos out there. But the biggest question we've had over the recent weeks is tubeless. How does it work? Once I get a flat, what do I do? So today we're gonna go through tubeless and kind of how this works. So this is my personal wheel, just got it on a new bike. First step you're gonna do is we're gonna release all the air out of the bike, or out of the tube. You can take off this nut, and then what we're gonna wanna do is work the tire into the center of the wheel. So it's not attached to the sides where it's more raised. This way it's easier to get the tire off, and sometimes, not always, you shouldn't even need to use a tire lever to get this tire off. So again, tire lever goes underneath. We're just gonna move it either way, go all the way around the wheel. And then typically, if you get one side off, you can work the other side off. So if you are putting tubeless onto your wheel, make sure that your tire is tubeless ready. So for Maxxis, they say TR, tubeless ready, right underneath it. If you're looking at Specialized or some other brands, they get a little witty and use tubeless, so tubeless ready. Make sure that your rim is taped. So this has actual DT tape on it. Again, it says tubeless ready right there on it. Right there. There are some options if your tire doesn't come tubeless ready. You can use Stan's tape. It'll look like this. Make sure to put multiple layers around it. You want to make sure the entire inside of the rim is sealed. Another product I really like, this one's from Specialized. Not really fond of tape, especially if you began doing tubeless when it first came out. But this is actually a tubeless ready rim strip. So you just put the rim strip around it and you're basically good to go. Sometimes these can cause a little more issue if they don't sit on the rim 100% correctly, but for the most part we've had pretty good luck with them. So next thing you're going to want to do is find your valve hole. So on this guy, it's up here. We're going to take our valve stem, and you can use any brand of valve stem. There's lots out there. These are actually revolve valve stems, but you can find Stan's ones. These do come in different width or lengths, so if you do need a longer valve stem, there's a 44 millimeter and a 54 millimeter. And there's even longer ones than that if you have a deep dish wheel that you need to put some longer valve stems on. So all we're gonna do is we're just gonna pop that in there, secure this nut down well, because air can leak out around this valve stem. So make sure it's snug. Next thing we're gonna wanna do, if you're using a tire that was pre-existing on tubeless, just try to make sure that you clean it out well. Try to make sure that any of the excess stuff, especially on the sides, is taken care of. One trick I've found is use a plastic putty scraper. That works well to kind of scrape that excess out. And you'll notice certain brands kind of do some different things, like Orange Seal will kind of stick more to the rim and cause a layer, where Stan's will kind of ball up. So just something to be aware of. We're gonna get this on like this. And you can leave a little bit of room. There's kind of two methods to how to do this. So we'll leave a little room there. There's a lot of different sealants on the market right now. So we typically use Stan's or Specialized. We stock Orange Seal as well. Thing to know, certain manufacturers have a lot thicker threads in their sealant, so you can't inject them. What's injecting, I'll go over that in a minute, but just know that if you're trying to inject sealant in through a valve stem, that certain sealants you can't do that with. Stan's Race would be one of them. Specialized also makes a sealant. We got Orange Seal here, and then a smaller bottle of normal Stan's. So those are a couple different products on the market. Obviously any of them will work, just kind of a preference. All right, so today I'm going to use the Specialized tubeless sealant. I've had good luck with Stan's and Orange Seal. It's just kind of what I readily have open already. So first thing you're going to want to do is shake it up. There are small threads in any of the sealant, so that's what's sealing your tire if you do get a flat or puncture. So shake it up good. Once it's shook up, one method would be just directly putting it into the tire. Next thing you're going to want to do, we're going to rotate this down. And ideally, we want to get it into an area that we already have pretty much sealed up. All right. Next thing you're going to want to do is inject some air in there and see if you have any leaks around the bead. Compressor obviously is the easier choice, but you can definitely, with the right products, you can definitely hand pump it as well, or use like a blast where you'll compress air into a separate chamber and it'll basically blast a whole bunch of air in here at one time. All right, so tubeless is done on this wheel. Just kind of look around the wheel. We're gonna want to look around this area. Obviously that's where I filled it up and kind of got on the rim a little bit, but look around it. You can also use your ear as well. Valve stem sometimes leaks. This one's holding pretty good right now, but that's a finished tubeless wheel right there. A few other things to note is we can do actually a fill from the valve stem. And I actually might need another tool here. All right, so the second method you can use is actually doing it through the valve stem. Now remember, certain sealants you can't actually inject through the valve stem. So what we're going to want to do, this is a valve stem tool. Some people prefer to use a needle nose too. Needle noses typically work, but you may have some issues marring up your valve stem. So what you're going to do, take out your valve core, looks like that. You're going to pop the top off of one of these, has a nozzle on it. You're going to have it flipped upside down, and you're literally just going to inject this whole bottle of sealant into the tire. Now obviously I just filled it with sealant, so I'm not going to do that, but just so you know, that's one method to doing it. Something else to note too, if you do have a stubborn tire that doesn't want to work, something we like to do around here is you get a nozzle like this, and you're actually going to put it up to it. This will put more air into the tire than through a valve stem. So if it's not filling, this way can work to make sure that if you have a stubborn tire, it'll seat. It's come in handy quite a few times. Highly recommend if you are having issues with it, but most of the technology today, we don't have a lot of issues with anymore. So if you have a tubeless ready wheel and tire, most of the time they'll pair up well and work really well. All right, so we'll get this thing filled back up. Another thing to note too with tubeless is we get a lot of people that come in and they go, we just had you do tubeless, or I just did tubeless myself and it held when I first filled it, but now it's not holding. Well, the sealant needs to be rotated around quite a bit in there, so you can shake it around a little bit and that'll work for a temporary time if you do have a leak somewhere. But the best thing you can do with tubeless tires is go out for a ride right away. Take a good half hour or so, ride around on them. It gets the sealant mixed around in there well and really seats in to any small cracks or issues you'd have. Now, one of the other things that we get a lot of questions on is, okay, I have my tubeless wheel set up. What do I do now if I get a flat? Well, we just do the opposite steps we just did. We literally take off the tire. We don't worry about the sealant in a situation where it hasn't resealed itself or protected the tire. And we just stick a tube back in. We take the valve stem out and you're good to go. You just put it back together and fill it back up. Super simple, super easy. The point of tubeless, some people look at it for weight savings, and that is one factor, is it will save you weight. Another factor is it's actually supposed to work to where if you do get a puncture, a small puncture, it'll actually seal it up so you can make it back home without even worrying about a tube. Obviously that's in a perfect world. If you get too big a gash, it won't seal it up, but all in all, that's how you're going to do tubeless. One other thing to note before you start doing tubeless is you do need the correct tire. So if you have a steel bead tire like this, steel bead means that this whole area around here is a steel wire, so it doesn't bend in half, doesn't fold. All tubeless tires are going to be folded like this. So let me take this out of the box here quick just so you guys have an idea of what I'm talking about. So this is a brand new Specialized Pathfinder tire. Well, it looks like it's stuck in there a little bit differently. That's all right. We'll just get rid of that packaging. So you're going to notice that this thing folds flat. It's much more pliable than that steel bead tire. This is what you're going to need for a tubeless ready tire. Obviously, like I said, I highly recommend making sure looking at the tire sidewalls. This one has tubeless ready right there on it. The Max has had tubeless ready on it. If it doesn't say tubeless ready and you're having issues, that's your issue. But definitely try to make sure that your tires are tubeless ready, and it'll make your life a lot easier. Hey guys, thanks for stopping and watching another video of Mechanic Monday with us. Hopefully this tubeless wheel demo / tutorial helped you out. If you do have any other questions or concerns, definitely let us know in the comments below. Let us know if you want to see anything else. Hopefully everybody stays happy and healthy, and hopefully see you soon.